We are back. Welcome back to the Strong Families podcast. I know that maybe you're driving in your car and you've just seen the Strong Families podcast pop back up as a new download. We have not disappeared. We are here. We've just taken a long break.
That's right. We did our first season. We had a great time. We had a blast. But then, you know, one of us in particular has been pretty busy in the break. And we thought, we just take a couple of months off, recoup.
Yep.
And so tell me, Amy, what's been happening?
What's been happening? Well, might have something to do with the fact that for the first time recording this podcast, I'm wearing jeans again. I'm not pregnant anymore. I had a baby in November. Yes. So now I have a 3-month-old daughter, which is wild. So yes, we've been a little bit busy.
Yeah.
That's been taking up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
So,
and she's just the most precious thing.
I like her.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
New member of the Strong Family.
Yes, she is. She's a proud member.
Yeah.
So no.
We should get her a little mini t-shirt, playgroup t-shirt.
Oh, yes, I should. We have Playtime t-shirts. If you're not aware, part of the Strong Families world is our See You at Playtime, which is back and now we have shirts. So yes, definitely getting a little one for Zoe.
Yeah. And just to let you know, I guess, a little bit about See You at Playtime, because I know there might be people listening to this who've met us through See You at Playtime, or maybe you follow on Instagram or something like that. But yeah, it's just our local play group that we run here at church Mondays and Wednesdays. And it's just a wonderful community of families and a chance to kind of engage with your kids through sensory play and music, and we just have a great time having coffee. So if you're listening to this and you haven't come yet, join us. We have a great bunch of people. But yeah, that's just one thing that we love to do as part of Strong Families. But we're also just really excited to have the podcast back.
So excited.
Yeah. And our heart with the podcast is really just to encourage you as a parent, whether you're a mum or a dad listening to this, whether you have very little kids at home, maybe you're still having babies like Amy, and so you're in the middle of nappy changes or toddler tantrums, or maybe your kids are a bit older and they're in school now or they're heading towards uni. You know, we hope that we have conversations on this podcast with parents of the whole spectrum, all different ages, all different stages, and just talk about real life. We talk about what is good, what is bad, what is easy, what is hard, some little tips that might make life better for you and your family, and really just believe that stories are powerful, and what people have been through can encourage us, even if we're not going through the exact same thing. There's definitely some wisdom in that collective kind of sharing of stories. So to say that, one of our phrases about our podcast is that we like to talk about the highs, the lows, and the in-betweens of life. I know it's a bit, bit of a lame saying, but it's true. That's what life is full of. A lot of highs, a lot of lows, but actually a remarkable amount of just in between as well, day to day. And there is beauty in all of it, and things to be learned in all of it. And so we thought for our first episode back that we would just share some of our highs, lows, and in betweens from the break. So why don't you kick us off, Amy? I think it might be obvious, but why don't you share a little bit more detail around the high?
The high of my last 3 months was, definitely having our daughter Zoe. And if you listened back a few episodes, I actually shared a little bit about my experience having my son Archer, and it was quite a tough experience. It was quite challenging to the point where we weren't sure if we were going to go for number 2. And I'm pleased to say that the second time around was completely in the opposite direction. It was such a positive experience. It was beautiful. And I remember saying to Chris before she was born that I just wanted to remember the first few hours at least, because when I look back to Archer's birth, I actually don't remember that first day. It's very patchy. I remember labor, I remember birth, but then all of those first cuddly moments with my son, I do not remember at all because, spoiler, I hemorrhaged and I passed out and I was not with it. And I'm so happy to say that I remember everything about that first day with Zoe, and that's really precious to me, especially finding out that she is in fact a girl, because we did not think,
it was a surprise.
We did not think we would ever have a girl, and it was just one of those things. It was really silly in hindsight that we kind of spoke over ourselves and other people spoke over us that Prestons have boys, and so we never considered it. And when she came out, I think we both realized how badly we did actually want that little girl, and she's so precious to us. And so that is definitely the biggest high, and it's going to take a lot to top it.
Yeah,
so we
that's
are
amazing.
Well chuffed.
Yeah, and just so
chuffed.
redemptive. I love
Totally.
that you know, after a hard birth that you were able to have that story that you wanted.
Yeah.
So such a high, a very good
much a
high.
Yeah. Do you want to go? What's your
Sure.
high?
Well, I definitely can't top that.
That's fine.
But I have to admit, so in the break, obviously it's been the school holidays, and I am really enjoying the phase that our family is in at the
Yeah.
moment. So if you weren't aware, I have 4 kids, and so currently they are 8, 7, 4, and 2, and soon to be 9, 7, 4 and 2, and so obviously I feel like we've come out of that really little baby stage. My youngest, obviously, she's, you know, toddler now, talking a lot, lots of big personality coming out.
Yeah.
And what it meant for this school holidays just really meant that we were able to do family things, things like going to the beach without being stressed out of my mind, and you know, those kind of outings. So there was just a lot of highs, I guess, with that. And one particular high was that my very clever husband, who is always building and creating things for our home, repurposed an old cubby house slide into a water slide for our pool.
So cool.
I know. The kids were just I did keep saying to them, you guys are so lucky. He is such a good daddy, because, you know, it's just brought a lot of joy to them. We've had a lot of time in the pool and, just really kind of, you know, brought me a lot of joy watching the kids play together and swim together. And I've even had moments where I've been able to read a book while the kids have all been swimming. I've been watching them, obviously, and I've been obviously supervising right there, but sitting poolside reading a book. I think just sometimes it's hard to see the future when you're in the midst of the baby years and you have someone attached to you 24/7, to then have those moments where you have kids happily playing, which look, let's be honest, that's not all moments with my kids in the pool. There's still definitely some drama, but we get these little glimpses, and I'm just really grateful for that. So that was a high for me.
That's so
all the
good.
pool time.
I remember over the break you posted a story of Penny cleaning the kitchen. I was like, oh my days, that's in my future.
Yes, and she was doing it to earn a new book to read.
That's so awesome.
I was just like, this is it. I have made it. And that was meant to be an encouragement of because it's not that long ago that I feel like I was there. And so, and it's not to diminish at all the challenge of every phase.
Totally.
You know, let's be serious. There's definitely some challenges that my kids have brought getting older.
Yeah, totally.
But it's just, there's a different kind of, their physical needs are becoming a bit less, you know, we're getting a bit more sleep in our household, that kind of thing, which is a real blessing. So I guess I just want to, kind of enjoy the high that is.
That's awesome.
All right, tell me what's a low.
My low.
For the break.
Okay, I'm going to try and keep this short. So my low is I went back to work. That's not my low. I like my job. I'm a wedding photographer and I really enjoy it. It's a very special job. But I went back to work a couple of weeks ago. And up until this point, it's been Chris and I doing this job together. It was Amy and Chris. We go off and shoot weddings, and wedding days were really special. Being creative, and then when dinner would come around, we'd get a wine and have this really fancy wedding meal, and it would almost feel like date night. It was really special. And anyway, we decided that as a family, that's not how we do it anymore. Mummy goes and shoots the weddings and Dad stays home with the kids, and that is 100% the right decision. So good decision. But when I was getting in the car, Chris was being really sweet and telling Archer to say go Mummy, you're a boss, good job, you're amazing, go Mummy. And then I looked up at Chris and he had tears in his eyes. I was like, oh, what's going on? You'll be fine, I'll be back soon. And he's like, no, I'm actually really sad, I'm not going with you. And that really broke my heart.
Just like a change.
Realized,
kind of grieving the change.
Totally. It's a change of season, and I think I didn't realize how much I loved that season that we had working with your spouse. Let me tell you, it has its challenges.
Oh, yes.
But now that season is done, it was really special.
Yeah.
And it made me sad. So that was my low.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, again, I feel like I'm pretty lucky. Like I have definite lows, but they're usually just because, you know, mummy's cranky.
Yeah.
I
think that's very relatable.
But just one thing that I remember from the break is that I was meeting a friend and I decided to be really kind and stop and pick up lunch. So pulled into our local shopping centre, very busy car park because it was like just prior to Christmas. And, you know, ran in, got some sushi, came back. And as I pulled out, I decided last minute, instead of turning left out of my car park because it was very congested that way, I would just quickly whip right and go around. You know, it's that split second decision that you make just to be like, this is going to make life easier. And I crunched, like literally crunched the side of my big van into the edge of the trolley bay, the pole around the edge of the trolley bay. And it wasn't just that I scraped it. It was the embarrassment that my car literally got stuck.
Perfect.
Right. And this kind lady pedestrian came over as I'm looking out the window trying to figure out what to do. And like, I'll admit, I just like crying.
Totally.
And she's telling me, okay, just reverse. So I tried to reverse and like the back door, like the sliding door on the car started like buckling as I tried to reverse.
Oh my days.
So I ended up just having to drive forward, which continued to scrape like the back. Anyway, it was just one of those moments of like an out of body experience where I'm like watching this happening, feeling like the biggest idiot because we actually had a little car accident not long prior to this, so we'd already had the car fixed and paid to have it fixed. And we're good drivers, Dan and I. We do not have a lot of incidents, but we just had this happen, you know, so soon after getting it back. So anyway, you know, made the phone call to Dan being like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, oh, it's okay. Like he wasn't too worried about the incident. He was more just like, oh, it's going to be inconvenient to get it fixed again.
But we know the process because recently
we knew who to call. We knew what our excess would be. So I guess that made it easier.
Oh, what a journey.
So anyway, it was just a moment of like, not an unexpected low. Was not wanting that to happen.
Fair.
So
well,
yes.
Funny you should say unexpected low because someone unexpectedly turned into my car today as
Oh,
well. So,
awesome.
so it's not just you.
It does make me feel slightly better.
So that was
did
really
you have to get it fixed?
Well, look, thankfully it was just a little nudge, so it's just like paint damage.
You just give a little buff.
Well, yeah,
no one will ever know.
Chris was like, he looked at it and he was like, it's probably not worth getting that fixed.
Yeah.
Like, well, no, it is because you can tell that it's had something wrong with it.
I'm
And he's
with
like,
Chris.
oh, you'd lose it
I'm
for a
with
week.
Chris.
Really?
Yeah, whatever. Just
My
who
car was so
cares?
shiny.
Gives it some character.
Yeah, character.
You've got stories to tell that
I
car.
can't wait to tell that story over again.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Cool. All right. Any in between? So I guess I just mean like something day to day. Maybe you learnt or a habit or just something of the in between.
Something day to day. It's a conversation that I'm actually having with my sweet 3-year-old every day. Shortly before Christmas, before Christmas, there was a house in our estate that was the biggest Christmas light display in the area. There was a lot of drama around it, access issues. It would take 45 minutes to access our estate from the one road in. And so it looks like that Christmas light display is never going to go up again, right? My son really loves those Christmas lights. And so I naively thought, he's going to forget about it. It'll be fine. Not a big deal. Every day we drive past the street and he goes, Mummy, where's the Christmas? Where's the Christmas? It's now February. Yeah. And so not only am I realizing that this might last for a long time, that every day I have to explain why the Christmas lights are no longer there, I realized that it's actually really hard to explain the concept of a calendar year to a child because I'm explaining to him that Christmas happens in December. Then I'm having to explain days and weeks. And it's really hard to explain, Joe.
Yes. Actually, I read one of my children is significantly older than your child and he still is like,
so this isn't
are we
going
doing
away.
this next year? And he means next week. And then, so time is a bit of a tricky one. He still doesn't get time.
Yeah.
If anyone listening to this has any great tips
advice,
on how to
please.
teach toddlers about yesterday, tomorrow, next month, next year, when's your birthday, when's Christmas, I haven't figured that out yet.
Even seasons. Why is it hot, Mummy? It's summer. What's summer? I don't know the answers Sweet
Yeah.
boy.
You'll miss
Yeah,
it one day.
I
I know
will.
that's a lame thing to say,
I will.
but I think, having the same conversation over and over is sometimes, it's kind of cute. I just think of it as cute.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like, okay,
my life
this is an
very
in-between. This is
cute.
just cute.
Yeah.
Very cute. Because
Very
every day
cute.
I get to talk about Christmas.
Every day. Well, what's your in-between?
My in-between is just, it's more of a me thing than a family thing.
Okay, I love that.
And it's just that now that my youngest is 2, I have all of a sudden been like, oh, I am getting sleep again,
What's that like?
which is excellent. Yeah,
Amazing.
sorry, don't mean to rub it in.
You're fine.
But I guess I've never been someone who's been in a good routine.
Okay.
And I've never been a morning person. And
Uh-huh.
one thing I'm really grateful for with my family is that children have forced me caused me to start to naturally wake up earlier
Yeah.
and just have to get going, I guess, in
Yeah.
the morning. And so, my in-between is just that I've started off like a much better routine this year.
Yeah, nice.
I'm getting out. And look, initially I thought I was going to be a runner.
Mm-hmm.
The running has turned to walking. 'cause
Love walking.
I realized
Walking.
how unfit I am and that the intervals were just
Yeah.
too hard. And I decided walking is better than nothing.
Absolutely.
And so I still might in the future try and run again. But for now, just regularly getting out and walking has been just a really
That's
lovely
awesome.
addition to my life.
Yeah.
And just that little bit of space first thing in the morning to then approach the day and approach parenting and approach
Yeah.
everything that's on your plate. It's been really great for me. And I know that's not groundbreaking for anyone.
Oh.
That's why I'm like, this is an in-between, because I know it's kind of, it's just a very mundane day-to-day thing. But it has impacted my life this last month or two.
I think that's like you say, that sounds mundane, but I think that's such a good point that like if you can wake up before your kids wake up, to give yourself that moment of just take a breath, take some time to yourself before
Yeah.
the calamity begins.
We have never been able to wake up before our kids
Yeah.
wake up. We've got a couple of kids that are very early risers.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
well, you don't want to be waking up at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Like we've literally had seasons where kids are consistently waking up 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Oh,
So
bless you.
it's a bit better now. But I'm very grateful that I have a husband who's home in the morning so I can go.
Yeah.
But so it might not always be mornings,
Yeah.
but even just that, regular
moment.
routine has been
Yeah.
really helpful for me. So I don't know, I thought I'd mention
I
it
love
in
it.
case someone
love
just
it.
needed that little inspiration to carve out the time.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Cool. Well, one thing we wanted to talk about, what are we going to do?
Let's keep it short.
Let's keep it short.
Keep it short.
All right. One thing we wanted to talk about is really just give people an overview of, we've talked about the Strong Families
Yeah.
podcast. We've talked about playtime. But,
Yeah.
Amy, what else is coming up this year for Strong Families?
Well, I'm very excited because in 2023, we had our Strong Families launch, which was super exciting. We had Dr. Justin Coulson come and do a talk, and we all left feeling very excited to get back into our parenting. And it was amazing. And someone actually said to us, oh, wow, we can't wait to do this again. Now,
Are we doing this every year?
Well, yeah, this was a launch. We didn't actually think about this being an annual event. And I'm so excited to say that, yes, it will be an annual event, because this year in May, we have the Strong Families Summit.
We couldn't call it a launch a
No,
second time.
absolutely not. We had to
We've
change the
been
name.
launched.
The launch has happened. Now we're at the summit.
Yes.
Yes. So we are going to have Joel and Sharon Chalaya come as our keynote speakers,
Yep.
and it's going to be amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm really excited to hear them speak.
Yes.
They bring a lot of wisdom. I know some of the team here at church, but also just people I know have heard them speak.
Yes.
Obviously, they're married, they have children, they lead a church, and they're really passionate about family.
Yes.
And so, the friends that I have that heard them speak just came back from that, being so inspired to love
Yeah.
their family well, and just
Yeah.
go, oh, what can I do to be intentional, to love my
Yeah.
family, to raise good kids? And
Yeah.
so we thought, oh, okay, we need to have them. We need to have them here in the flesh.
Yep.
And so they're going to come. It's going to be an incredible day hearing from them, but we're also going to have like electives of different topics that people can go to throughout the day. We're going to have lunch together. So
Yeah.
that's happening on the 25th of May. So
Yes.
just wanted to do a save the date for people and say, come along. If you're in Brisbane or the Brisbane area, you're invited, and keep an eye out on our socials for more info about
all
that.
the details. Yeah. It's going to be super exciting. I'm very keen. But other than that, in the world of Strong Families, the podcast is back. See You at Playtime is fully in action.
That's right.
And also keep an eye on socials for future grow courses and things that happened last year that will continue this year. But
and we're doing a local catch up.
Yes.
4 times this year. We're just going to do a families catch up at the park here locally. So our Strong Families catch ups are going to be happening as well. So keep an eye on our socials for those. Just some play dates and chance to meet other families in the area. So thanks for listening. We are so excited about the podcast for this year. We're going to be releasing fortnightly. Is that right, Amy?
That is right. Because turns out podcasting is a lot. So it's a big job. We've learnt that. And so, fortnightly is what works for us right now. So
episodes dropping on Mondays, and we'll see you back here, same time, same place, in a fortnight.
See
you then.
Bye.